Car accident claims are frankly the most frequent type of accident claims that we see at the Preszler Law Firm, and we represented thousands of car accident victims. And as you can imagine, there's a dramatic range of the level of severity of injuries or impairments that stem from a car accident. Car accident claims are the most voluminous or frequent type of claims that my firm handles. And the reasons are obvious. There's more cars on the road than ever before. And frankly, with traffic patterns as they are, gives rise to a lot of collisions. Now, what we see most frequently following a car accident, which, and for people not in the industry, lawyers and insurance companies refer to car accidents as motor vehicle accidents. Okay, but motor vehicles are actually a broader term that not only include cars, but trucks, motorcycles, ATVs, snowmobiles. It's a wider definition. So when I refer to cars, I'm really referring to motor vehicle accidents, and the terms can be used interchangeably. But what we see most frequently in car accident claims is that a collision occurs. At the time of the collision, everybody involved in the accident is often full of adrenaline. They don't know what happened. They are surprised. They're nervous. They're anxious. And most people think at the scene of the accident that they're fine, that they're going to brush it off, that they're just a little shooken up, and that they're going to go on in life. What we see more often than not is that within 24 hours of that collision, even though you thought that you were fine, within 24 hours, you start feeling the effects of the collision. Often we see whiplash injuries. We also see, which are soft tissue in nature, but there are different types of levels of whiplash, and some of which are far more serious than others. And we see a pattern in motor vehicle accident claims where most people do get better from their injuries, but there's different levels of injury as I was describing. So the more minor type of stuff where most people get better is when there's just pure soft tissue injuries, no fractures, no brain injury, nothing of that nature. Fortunately, most people do get better, but most is not all. And there is a percentage of accident victims who are more vulnerable. And for whatever reason, they do not get better. And each accident victim has to be taken as they are. Some people have pre-existing disabilities. Some people are just more vulnerable. Some people are less physically active, and then they're more susceptible to the velocities and the forces that are involved in an accident. Most people that have been involved in an accident, even though there may not be or there may be limited property damage in the actual accident, what we see is significant forces, and everyone's experienced, or at least most people have experienced, when you've been rear-ended in an accident. As far as I'm concerned, that's a very substantial impact, okay? And you get thrown forwards, your neck snaps backwards, and like I was saying, within 24 to 48 hours, you start feeling the effects. And that is known as a whiplash injury. But whiplash isn't just whiplash. You then develop sore shoulders, sore back, you then develop headaches, and for a percentage in the population, after about 4 to 6 weeks, people's mental health starts declining because of the fact that they're not getting better. And as their mental health declines and their physical health declines, they then develop what's considered our sleep impairments, or they have difficulty sleeping. And then with less sleep, it's a cycle where you end up having more mental health issues, you become more depressed, more anxious. And then after about 3 to 6 months, you start developing, or your pain becomes more entrenched, or what they refer to as chronic pain. So that's the pattern that we often see for a percentage of accident victims, that despite going for treatment, despite doing everything they can to get better and wanting to resume their life, they just simply do not get better. Now, my firm, we also represent very seriously injured people that result that stem from car accident claims. Now, whether that be complex fractures, even simple fractures, torn ligaments, but also we represent people with very severe or significant brain injuries, anything, and frankly even spinal cord injuries, which result in paraplegia, quadriplegia, or even tetraplegia. The other things that we see are concussions. Now, it's a term that is frankly used by non-medical practitioners, but it's really a traumatic brain injury. And there's more data that comes out on it, and car accident claims often give rise to concussion or traumatic brain injury claims. Whiplash claims are obviously the most frequent, and there are actually 4 different levels of whiplash, but the 4th level is considered a fracture. The 3rd level, even though when people hear whiplash, they think it's minor. It's far from minor in most cases. There are many people that simply get better from whiplash, but the more serious forms often take far more time to recover from. So there are many benefits to hiring a law firm to handle your car accident claim. Now, my comments are with respect to victims of accidents that were not at fault or only partially at fault for the accident. And each victim has access to 2 different paths. The first path is to access what are called the statutory accident benefit schedule, or accident benefits. It provides you with access to interim income replacement benefits, which are a payment of up to $400 per week for your lost wages. You can also qualify for up to $65,000 for medical treatment. Well, at least that's what your standard policy says, although the insurance companies can unilaterally reduce the benefits that you're entitled to $3,500 if they put you in the minor injury guideline. And for those that are most seriously injured, they can access what are considered catastrophic level of coverage, which is reserved for those persons who sustain what is considered a catastrophic impairment. The second avenue of recovery is through a lawsuit. And that's where you sue the at-fault driver or the owner of the vehicle for your pain and suffering, your past loss of income, your future loss of income, and any future healthcare-related expenses you may have. Now, that list is not exhaustive. Every case is unique, and all of your damages that are recoverable in law, provided you meet the legal tests in order to entitle you to those types of damages, can be accessed through what is called a tort claim, also known as a lawsuit. Now, the third avenue, even though I mentioned that there were only 2, for most people that are employed at bigger companies or that aren't self-employed, they do have access to short-term disability and long-term disability benefits. Now, there's also situations where employees, through their employment relationship, have access to short-term or long-term disability coverage. Now, your short-term and long-term disability policy is the first payer. So before you receive an income replacement benefit, you have to apply for and qualify for either short-term or long-term disability benefits. You can also access EI for a sick leave benefit for up to 15 weeks. So these are part of the reasons why it's important to contact a law firm, because a lawyer can help direct you and make sure that you are able to access all the different types of benefits that you're entitled to. The cost of medical treatment in the private setting is very expensive. Most people have gone to a chiropractor at one point or a physiotherapist, and if you don't have benefits through an employer and you're paying out of pocket, you soon come to realize how expensive private medicine really is. OHIP, unfortunately, only provides certain types of treatment. It doesn't cover chiro, it doesn't cover physio, it doesn't recover all kinds of treatment that you should have access to that you don't through the OHIP system. And that's where the accident benefit schedule allows you to get certain types of benefits in the private setting where the insurance company will pay for it. But again, in order to access these benefits, you have to follow a very strict series of applications and submissions of paperwork in order to get what you're duly entitled to. Again, that's where law firms step in. They make sure that things are being done correctly, that the paperwork is being submitted to the insurance company correctly, that medical records are obtained to justify the request that you're making, and most importantly, keeping the insurance company fully informed as to the status of your recovery. If you've been involved in a car accident or a motor vehicle accident claim, you can contact myself, Jeffrey Preszler, at 1-800-JUSTICE, or you can contact my firm. We have many very capable lawyers that are more than happy to assist you, and we can help you through this entire process from the beginning to end. Part of our role is to make sure that you're informed, that you understand what your rights are, and most importantly, we help you gain access to all the benefits that you're entitled to so that you don't have to worry about whether or not you're missing out on something. Give us a call for a free consultation. It's completely free. There's no obligation to retain our services or hire our firm. We're more than happy to spend time with you, educating you on the process so that you can make the best decisions for you and your family.